Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? This is Kimberly Dixon with In the Garden with Joyful Living. Typically on Saturdays, I do my joyful living in the garden with Joyful Living at 9 a.m. on Saturday. But guys, when I tell you this morning, it was so much stuff on my porch, I actually couldn't do it because I almost finished my planting yesterday. And I literally had a pile of dirt on my front porch. And I came outside this morning at 7 a.m. to finish up. And I'm just now getting finished. Of course, I took a shower and all of that stuff. So while we wait for some people to join us, let me show you what I've got going on in the garden this morning. So, I plant a patio garden every year. So I've got my little flowers, the entranceway. Those are African daisies. That is a better bush tomato that has some growth to it already. But then there is a Roma tomato and another tomato, but I forget what kind. That's a marigold. Marigolds help repel insects. That's basil. It's supposed to improve the flavor. Hi, TT. I was going to say good morning, but it's not morning. That's a basil plant. And then over here, I've got some curly kale that will do well up until about June. And that's a green bell pepper and a red bell pepper. And, of course, the marigolds. That's rosemary, garlic chives. And I typically have a miniature rose in this bucket, but I haven't been able to find one. So I put chives with the rose bush because it's supposed to improve the smell, make it more fragrant. That is a squash, my Delilah flower. Those buckets back there are mums, which are fall flowers, but I put them under the bush to kind of protect them from the heat. Then that is my Gerbana daisy. It's a beautiful red color. And this is actually a plant that was from last year, but it didn't die during the winter. It's an annual, but it is coming back strong. Romaine lettuce, collard greens, arugula lettuce, more collard greens, and you see I have marigolds everywhere. I don't particularly like the smell of marigolds, but it helps out tremendously in organic gardening because it deters pests. And my more collard greens and my mint so that I can have mint in my water and tea and lemonade. And those are green bean seeds. And lastly, I've got my strawberry buckets. So, the garden, my front porch garden is looking pretty good today. And I am really ecstatic about it. But I wanted to take just a few minutes today to talk with you all because, yesterday, North Carolina officially went to the shelter in place status at 5 p.m. And so, we're supposed to stay at home unless we are going out to get food or taking care of something that is absolutely essential. We are supposed to stay home, which is challenging for a lot of us. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Cornelius. So I wanted to give you a couple of tips today about things that we can do to help with the mental stress as well as the boredom. Because even though I'm an introvert, after so many days, I feel like I got to get out of here. I need to see people. Not necessarily wanting to go anywhere or do anything, but I like to see people. So the first thing that we can do during this time is we all have this long list of home projects that we've had forever. Now is the perfect time to work on some of those things. I'm actually working on my spare bedroom upstairs and have been doing a lot of great things in there. That's going to be a surprise. I'll reveal what's really going on with that room a little bit later. But find a home project, something that, one, is going to take some time because we're going to be under this for a little while. And I just realized my conditioner is still white. I washed my hair after doing all that gardening. But anyway, that doesn't matter. But find a project in your house that you and your family or you and your child can work on so that you're not feeling so bored all of the time. Because once you start working on that project, you'll look up and hours have gone by. So the first tip of handling some of the mental stress that we're going to experience, because we're all going to experience it. The world we live in has changed. And this is going to require an adjustment on all of our part. So find a project in your home, something that interests you, and work on that. Then the second tip is take up a new hobby. Let me tell you, there is a YouTube video for any and everything you could ever want to do. So for instance, well, this is my hobby is gardening. I've done it for years. Every year I've had a patio garden, and every year it gets bigger. And so this year I was going to buy me a new water hose, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if there's a video on how to fix a water hose. And lo and behold, there was one, and it worked. So if you have an interest in anything, learning how to play guitar, find you a used guitar on eBay or some other online site, and learn how to play the guitar on YouTube. Learn how to paint on YouTube. Learn how to knit on YouTube. If you want to learn how to fix an engine, how to drop an engine, whatever you do, raise an engine up, drop a transmission, whatever you want to do, there is a video for it on YouTube. So don't spend your time idle during these days of transition. Take up a new hobby, something that you've always wanted to do, or something that you used to do, but life got busy and you stopped doing it. Well, now's the perfect opportunity to start doing what it is that you love again, because guess what? You've got the time now. As you can see, my garden is mostly planted now. I've only got a few things left, and if anybody in Raleigh finds a miniature rose bush, grab it for me. I'll pay you back. I need my rose bush. But now that I've got my garden planted, I will spend countless hours out here tending to my fruits and vegetables, fertilizing, watering them, watching them grow. Yes, I will sit out here because it brings you just great pleasure and joy just to be in your garden and be able to see the progress that the plants are making from one day to the next. So if you have an interest in gardening, I'm not an expert at this. I've just been doing it for a couple of years now, but the first year that I did it, I didn't know anything about it. I remember my parents, well, not my parents, my grandparents having a garden as a child and how much I enjoyed that. So I was like, I'm going to plant me some flowers. I'm going to plant me some vegetables on my porch. And now every year has grown. I've gotten a little bit better at it. I'm a little bit more successful at it. Hi, Judy. I'm by no means an expert at it, but it's my hobby and I enjoy it. It brings me fulfillment. It brings me peace, and it occupies my time. So with so much free time on our hands now, don't let's sit around idle. Don't spend it all sleeping, because you have to be very careful during this season with everything that's going on. Spending so much time indoors, depression will easily slip in. So don't spend a whole lot. Hi, Tracy. Don't spend a whole lot of time sleeping. Pick up a hobby that you haven't done in a long time, that you had a lot of interest in, but life just took over and you haven't been able to do it in a long time. Pick your hobby back up, or find a new one. Something that I always wanted to get involved in. Something that you always wanted to do that you can do by yourself. And the third tip is we got to exercise. We got to do something to keep our bodies moving, to keep exercise. When you exercise, that releases all the positive hormones in your body, the serotonin, the dopamine, all of those endorphins and things that come from your brain. Hi, Sean. That will energize you, improve your mood, help you to sleep better when you do sleep at night, because your body is getting that movement, is getting the circulation that it needs. So we have got to exercise during this time. Strangely enough, I've lived in this neighborhood for almost a year now. And yesterday evening when I was finishing up my gardening, I was on my porch. And, I saw more people, families out with their children. There's I live in the townhouse. So there's an empty lot beside of my house. I've never seen anybody over there. Never in the year that I've been here. This week alone, there have been children over there playing group sports and things that we used to play when we were kids. And yesterday evening, I saw husband and wives walking, fathers with their children, whole families walking. I saw more people out in this neighborhood yesterday than I have the entire year that I've been living here. So this thing, the COVID-19 is going to change the way we operate. But I think some things are going to come out of this that are positive that we've forgotten about doing, that we've put on the back burner, that we don't think we have the time or the energy to engage in. But we're going to do it now because we're quote unquote bored and we're tired of being in the house. So get outside, exercise, go for a walk, take your child, let them ride their bicycle, do some yoga indoors, whatever it is to help keep your body moving, keep your circulation going, and those things, so that we are not so mentally bogged down and so anxious about what's going on now, because as we all know, the numbers are still increasing every day. It hasn't leveled off yet, and it certainly hasn't improved. So we have got to do things that make sure that we care for our mental, our physical, and our spiritual well-being. So do some yoga, go for a walk, do whatever. As I said earlier, there's a YouTube video for anything and everything you want to do. If you want to learn how to line dance, there's a YouTube video for it. I use it to exercise off sometimes. But the mixed fit, what are some of the other ones people do? Whatever kind of exercise it is that you do, you can find a YouTube video for it. But in the fourth tip that I'm going to leave you all with today is be grateful. Whenever you feel yourself getting frustrated or getting or you're about to complain about the current state of things and you don't want to do this anymore, I want you to be grateful. So remember that you're tired of being stuck in the house. I want you to think about that person who has no place to go. They are homeless, and now we're living under a shelter in place. They don't have any shelter. I was riding down 70 in Garner a couple days ago, and I saw a man walking along the side of the road. He appeared to be homeless. I can't say for sure that he was. And in that instance, I almost burst into tears because I realized, hi Bryant, that in that moment, we are under a shelter in place, and here is somebody who has no shelter. So whenever you find yourself getting ready to complain, or you're getting frustrated or anxious about being indoors, be grateful. That is the fourth tip. Be grateful and be thankful that you have a place that you can be sheltered in. Because there is somebody now that is in Raleigh, North Carolina, Durham, all these different areas, New York, God forbid New York right now, because that's the epicenter in the U.S. They're telling you to stay indoors, and you don't have anywhere to stay. So whenever we find ourselves about to complain or feeling frustrated and maybe even angry or upset about what's going on right now, I want you to think about something that you have in your life that you can be grateful for. If you're tired of being stuck in your the house, be grateful that you're stuck there with your family and your kids, and that you're all healthy and that nobody is sick. Because at the rate that this thing is going, we never know what's going to happen from one day to the next. Whenever you feel yourself about to complain, immediately switch to being grateful, because it definitely will improve your mood and it will make an impact on your day. And along with being grateful, you also want to turn to your scriptures every day. Don't take this opportunity, take this time as an opportunity to study more. And if I've said it time and time again, Psalms is a great place if you need to feel comforted, if you need to be soothed, if you need to have your anxiety lessen. Start with Psalms. Psalms 46 is a great one. God is my refuge and my strength, my ever-present help in the time of trouble. And then read Psalm 91. It says, there's safety abiding in God's presence. Hi, Jolene. There's comfort available. Hi, Curtis. available for us. So during this time, during this season, because we honestly, none of us know how long this season is going to last, follow these tips so that you're not feeling so frustrated, so anxious, and so maybe even angry about what's going on. Find you a home project that you can work on, or take up a new hobby. Start a hobby that you've never done before, or pick up one that you let fall to the, hi Alfred, let fall to the wayside because life took over, because you got busy. Again, there's a YouTube video for everything you could ever possibly want to do. Again, I used it to fix my water hose this week so that I could get all of my planting done for this season. Have just a little bit more to go, but it's mostly done because I used YouTube videos to find out how to do the things that I wanted it to do to expand my garden this year. And then tip number 3 was to exercise, to get outside. We got to keep our social distancing, but there's still an opportunity for you to talk to your neighbors and stuff. And that's precisely what we've been doing here in my neighborhood. And as I said on yesterday, when the official shelter in place went in order, I saw more people out in this neighborhood that I've seen the entire time I've been here. So this thing is going to change the way we live, but I also feel that it's going to make some things better because we've stopped talking to each other. We stopped communicating with each other. We stopped getting to know our neighbors. There was a time when you knew everybody on your street, and I've lived in this neighborhood almost a year, and I know the lady next door to me, and that's it. No, and there's one other guy across the street, but that's essentially it. So during this time, get a new hobby, exercise, go outside, do some yoga, do some things that are going to get your blood pumping and improve your mood. And then the 4th tip was be grateful. No matter what we're going through, there's always something to be grateful for in our lives. And if you're feeling like you're tired of being stuck in a house, I want you to think about that homeless person who are under a shelter in place and they don't have a shelter to go to. That's a bad place to be. That is a scary place to be. So I want you to remember those people in prayer, because no matter how bad our situation is, it can always be worse. Believe me. And the 4th tip was be grateful. Turn to God. When you find yourself wanting to complain, immediately switch that to something that you can be grateful for in your life. Be grateful for your family. Be grateful for your health. Be grateful that no one you know directly has been affected by this. And immediately when you feel yourself about to complain, switch the thought. Switch it to something that you can be grateful for. Anything. Because one, it will have an impact on your mood. Because complaining will bring you down. And it will increase feelings of anxiety, which can ultimately lead to depression. Don't spend all your time just hanging out on the couch, binge watching TV. We need to do some things that are going to actively help us get through this time. And the 4th tip, I just told you the 4th tip, be grateful, don't complain, but turn to God. Remember to pray daily, which we should be doing that anyway, but sometimes we get caught up in the middle of life and we don't actively do the things that we should be for the kingdom. So go to God in prayer. This is the perfect opportunity to get into your word and read your scriptures. And if you are really needing some comfort during this time, the book of Psalms is a great place to go. Start with Psalm 46, then go to Psalm 91, and then just find other ones that really resonate with you. My grandmother's favorite psalm was Psalm 27. I still read it regularly when I'm thinking about her. So guys, I just wanted to get on just for a minute this morning. I didn't come to you at the normal time because, again, as I said earlier, I had a mound of dirt on my front porch and literally couldn't get around it. But I wanted to come to you today and share those couple of little tips with you to help everybody get through this time. And tune in next week. That will more than likely be at 9 a.m. at its regularly scheduled time for part 2 of the tips on handling the mental stress and the anxiety of the shelter in place that most of North Carolina is currently under, and some other states as well. So guys, thank you for watching In the Garden with Joyful Living. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.